Good morning, all of you. Now we are revising economics chapter number 1, development. And when we are talking about development in economics, it is related with the income. So now you are just observing two images and classroom A, classroom B. So in which classroom you would like to study? Of course, in classroom B.
Classroom B.
Because classroom B has more facilities as
Yes.
compared to classroom A. So when we are concerned about economy, so every economy is concerned about certain aspects like what are the essential things that we require to live, whether it is related with food, clothes, or shelter. Can there be more equality among people? Less economic disparity? Can life be better for all? So economy is related with this. Same way, by which train one would like to travel? Of course, B, because B is more comfortable and moves at a faster speed. So now, if you will notice that we always like to have more developed things. To satisfy citizens' desires, every country wants to develop its economy. And this is the main target of the government also. How? Now we'll discuss about all these questions. Development, that means progress. But development is a complex because it has different ideas. In economic development, reaching an acceptable standard of living, all development efforts should be done sustainable manner. So development, it is a process that brings changes in living standard of people. But interpretation of development may differ from person to person. And for this, we will just discuss about different people, different developmental goals. If we are talking about development goal of a landless rural laborers, what will be the developmental goal for the landless rural labor? That is more days of work, better wages. This will be the developmental goal for landless rural labor. If we are talking about Adivasi from the Narmada Valley, what will be the goal for them? Yes, can anyone? What will be the developmental goal for a Adivasi from Narmada Valley? Yes, anyone?
They should get inhabited for the new life, as the dam would destroy their
Yes,
previous
because
life.
construction of dam means displacement of the tribal community. So they wanted to end off construction of dams. Farmers who depend on rain, of course, first priority, sufficient rain. Monsoon अच्छा होना चाहिए. As well as he can get loan at cheap rate of interest in case of drought. So now what we have learned that different people, different developmental goals. But still some goals are common, some different, and sometimes people seek conflicting goals also. Clash. Development for one is destruction for others. Now, if we are talking about builder, he wants to demolish slum area to set up a 5-star hotel to increase his wealth. But slum people, in this way, they will be homeless. Or like just now we have discussed about the construction of dam. So industrialists wants construction of dams, but that means displacement of the local people. So they want it end. But except income, there are other goals also. First priority, more income. Material goods, which we can buy from money. But that is not sufficient to live. Today, you all are living at home. You're not allowed to move here and there. You're having the money, but can you utilize that money? So besides income, quality of life is also important. And I think you can easily understand the role of your friend in your life. Quality of life depends on non-material things. That is freedom. Now you want freedom to move here and there. Better education, better health facilities, more job opportunities. Now we are talking about national development. So as people are having different developmental goals, so different countries are also having different goals. So notion of national development to be different for individuals. National development is also based on income. But what is the criteria to know about it? And first criteria, which is given by World Bank. To compare countries, their income is the most important attribute. Because more income means more things that human being needs. And how can we get total income? What do you mean by total income of the country? That means income of all the residents of a country. But it is very difficult to compare. So how can we compare?
Ma'am, by average income.
Yes, by per capita income or averages. And comparison is done on the basis of per capita income. And to get per capita income, total income upon total population. That is also called average income. Income obtained by dividing national income by population of the country. But do you think that is a sufficient criteria? Averages are useful for comparison, but they hide disparities. Do you remember?
Yes, ma'am, they hide the gap between rich and poor.
Yes. Averages are useful for comparison, but they hide disparities because they did not show the gap between the rich and poor. You are having 5 subjects. In one subject, you are getting above 90, in other subject, you are getting 50%. But when you will tell us about the percentage, or we can say average, then it will not show the gap between the one to another. So for comparison, it is good. averages, but it hides disparity. That means that they are having the limitations also. So there is another criteria also for comparison. Looking at individual aspirations. Only income is not all that one needs to live. Same in the case of a nation also. Besides per capita income, there are equally important attributes for comparison. Public facilities, education facilities, health facilities. Now, what are public facilities? What do you mean by public facilities? Which are used by all. Basic facilities and infrastructure provided by the government. And the purpose of this to improve standard of living of the people. Other than education and health, public facilities are like infrastructure. We are having a car, but if the government has not made the roads, infrastructure nahi hai, so how? Banks, LPG, train, social housing, water, waste management, electricity, telecommunications, and responsibility taken by government. Education facility, this is the most important. Now government has taken the decision to open the school for class 10th and 12th. So that means you all want to come to school, but unless and until government is not ready, so how can you come? So education facilities, attainment of various skills and knowledge lead to an increase in productive efficiency and income level. Education facilities, that is also having three components: literacy rate, that means the percentage of literate population in the age group of 7 and above, who is able to read and write, that is called literacy rate. Next is net attendance ratio. Like your strength of your class is 39 and how many students are actually attending the classes, that is called net attendance ratio. So that means total number of children of age group 6 to 10 attending school as a percentage of total number of children in the same age. Gross enrollment ratio. It gives a rough idea of the education from primary school to higher education beyond secondary school. Same health facilities, that is measured by two components: IMR, that is infant mortality rate. That means number of children dying before 1 year of age as a proportion of 1000 live children born in that particular year. If IMR is higher, that means country is not having a proper health infrastructure. You just imagine about the parents whose children are died before completing 1 year of age. The children who are not able to celebrate his first birthday. Today we are living in the 21st century and still infant mortality rate is so high. Life expectancy, average life of a person. That means number of years on an average a newborn baby is expected to live. This is BMI. Measures widely used to diagnose waste problem within population. After that, Human Development and Development Index. This is the another criteria for the comparison. It measures economic welfare along with the status of a development in a particular country. And this criteria is used by UNDP, United Nations Development Program, and they compare countries on the basis of not only on the income. They say, just now we have discussed about the criteria used by World Bank, which is based only on income. But the UNDP criteria not only based on income, it includes health and education levels. And they have prepared a list of the countries based on that three attributes, and that is called HDI, Human Development Index. And this is a table, India along with its neighboring countries. But this is the old data, 2004. Every year this list is prepared. Countries per capita income in US dollar, life expectancy at birth, literacy rate, gross enrollment ratio, and after that HDI rank. If we are just look at the data, it is also in the big 21st century data. And according to this survey, India ranked 126 out of 177 countries. And just see the life expectancy. India 64, Pakistan 63. That is not too far. Myanmar 61. When their per capita income is half, but still life expectancy is almost equal. And now you just see the literacy rate also. In India, 61%. In the beginning of 21st century, see the literacy rate of India, 64. Yeah, that means around 40% population are illiterate. And you just see Myanmar, they're having 90% literacy rate. Sri Lanka, a very small country, is much ahead, whether in the life expectancy, per capita income, literacy rate, gross enrollment ratio. And see the difference of HDI rank. And now the last topic of this, that is sustainable development. And I think in every chapter, our main topic is sustainable development, whether it is in history, whether it is in economics or geography. Because this is the need of the hour. Sustainable development means present and future. Maintaining quality of life. Because consequences of environmental degradation do not respect national or state boundaries. Environment is degraded through the depletion of resources like air, water, and soil. So that means whenever we are concerned about development, the development is associated with the sustainable development. Sustainability is an important factor for the development of a country. We all know that every generation wants to get the maximum benefit from the resources which are available to them. But this can be dangerous because the available resources can be exhausted within a short period of time. And our future generation will remain deprived of these resources. So, sustainability is the capability to use resources in such a way, or we can say judicious use, to maintain the ecological balance. And it is essential for the survival of future generation also. And what is the reason behind it? Why it is necessary? That is, it takes care of the overall development of the economy. It controls the misuse of the resources. So finally, we can say the earth has enough resources to meet the needs of all, but not for the greediness of even one person. Our earth has provided all the things, all the resources, enough resources. But nowadays, human beings are exploiting the resources, whether through deforestation, extraction of accessing underground water. If these available resources are utilized irrationally, they will end up soon, get degraded, or become less productive and inefficient. And this is the reason or need of the hour